Mic check. Mic check, mic check. Are you here, Mike? I think Mike is here. Hello, hello, hello. To all the watchers. Tonight we'll start with an old tube. You might recognize this sample. It is my good old trusty Stylaria sample, the one from, I think, from our very first test streams. Those aren't online anymore. Oh, but you know, there's Angus is already here. Hi, Angus. So nice to have these surprises if you revisit these old tubes. I knew I had these mites in here, and there's loads of copepods. But funny thing is, I thought the mites in here were juveniles. And it turns out that now there are even smaller mites that resemble the mites that I thought were juveniles. So I guess the mites that I thought were juveniles weren't juveniles, and they reproduced in the meantime. I'm not sure what they're feeding on, if they're feeding on copepods. It's possible. We will have a look later on another sample where there is a mite that does feed on copepods. I managed to capture that mite with a copepod, but it seems to me that it's a slightly different species than the ones in here. So this is the tube with the weird water mold up there. That's the mite that just zoomed by. And yeah, it's an old tube, so it's dirty. It's got very, very dirty walls. All kinds of diatoms and I don't know what. But yeah, there's also some sad news. As I mentioned in the description, there was a fiber optic cable to be installed at our new place, and the technician came over and tried to do his job, but he couldn't because the cable conduit that crosses the street, subterranean cable conduit, seems to have been compressed somewhere about halfway, so he can't pass the cable. The fiber optic cable could not be installed, and the cable conduit being our responsibility in this case is broken apparently, and I've already started digging a hole. Right now it's about 1.2 meters deep. Almost as deep as my shovel is high. There's one of these baby mites swimming around. Anyways, yeah, the fiber optic cable will be delayed, so you'll have to make do with the quality that I'm getting tonight. But I'm seeing that I haven't dropped any frames yet. So let me check real quick if I can change the bitrate. No, that's why the wormbot didn't have 300 times the details. The regular, ordinarily detailed wormbot. Regular wormbots this week. The stylaria seem to have, I'm not sure, they have shrunk a bit. Might reach their limit in terms of nutrients, what they can find in here. There's no green stuff left as far as I can tell. I mean, surely there's diatoms and other photosynthetic organisms in here. But okay, so I up the bitrate and of course instantly I'm dropping frames. Reduce that again. Sorry, I've got to deal with technical issues. But the reason I did choose this old sample is that this snail over here apparently it was happy enough in this test tube to reproduce. And yeah, Angus is stuck buffering. I hope that's getting better now. Should be a little better. I know that the bitrate I can use isn't always the same. I hope we can make it work. I will go a little further in. And we can have a look at the snail eggs this snail has laid. They have well developed. They are, I think they're pretty close to hatching because, I mean, look at them. They look like snails. Very much so. Turning and turning. Okay, I think I've stopped dropping frames now. Should have taken care of it. Alright, so I've prepared a little clip from the snail when it I basically discovered it when it was putting its last eggs down. The last ones of this batch, and I'll play that clip real quick, and while I'm doing that I'll change magnification to have a really close look at the snails in the eggs. So that's the snail laying eggs. Eggs are expelled, I don't know. They come out of the shell at the side of the head there, and it then manipulates them and puts them down with its soul. Sorry, I'm not very loud at the moment, I guess. So yeah, the snail put these eggs down, and that's what they look like now. When they were laid, they were just these little yellow balls of yolk. The screen was black. Yeah, the screen was black for a minute because my clip wasn't long enough to cover my lens change. Sorry about that. It's jinxed tonight. So you can see all of these little snails with all the, what I would say is a pretty well-formed shell already. Thanks for the feedback, Angus, by the way. And I made some changes to the machine. I'm not sure I'm happy with. I've changed the micro-stepping on one axis, and I had to compensate the other movements, and I think it's not as liquid, as fluid movement as it was before. I was hoping to get a little more speed on the rotation, but right now I think, yeah, it's pretty fast on this magnification. Have to be careful not to shake everything around. So we can see in this one, for example, let me put it in the middle of the screen. We can see a little snail heart beating. These little guys are pretty active. They're constantly on the move in these enclosures. Trick Track's here. Hi Trick Track. Welcome. We're looking at some snail eggs. As you're probably able to tell. And this should be the faucet snail. Bithynia. I think. What's this one? Yeah. Yeah, you can see the heart and all of them, of course, if the focus is right. Cute little buggers. Oh man. And I think I'm gonna throw the polarizer in real quick, because there's something I noticed on these tiny snails. Good enough. So the funny thing is that these, yeah, I think they are very developed, Trick Track. I think they are close to hatching, but patience. I mean, I know you have your experience with waiting for things to hatch and waiting in vain sometimes. You did a lot of very nice egg-related content, rotifer eggs and snail eggs too, I think. Did you? Oh. Turn the focus off there. So I mean that the shells are birefringent and they will show a rainbowish pattern and cross-polarized light was no surprise to me and to my regular watchers. It shouldn't be other if they are learning anything from these streams. But the snail species does have a cover for the shell, and you can kind of see it on the left one there. That cover is also pretty spectacular. It's got a circular pattern. So I think it's secreted and kind of grows like a tree does with the rings. Here we can see it, for example. It's definitely, well, we don't see the circular pattern, but we see that it's birefringent. Oh, and Mom comes along. What are you doing, Mom? You wanna help them hatch? Help them along? Yeah, clean the screen, please. It's ever so gunky. But well, I wanted to show the eggs. There are some more eggs in several development stages. Ah, there's one, for example, that doesn't look so hot. Looks like the shell is damaged, maybe? Yeah, I don't know how they if they eat their way out. I would guess so. I've seen the movement. The radula muscles seem to be active already. I think this is that's a different batch. So here we have some malformations, or maybe there have been, some of them haven't developed correctly, like these two here. Don't see real. They haven't gone far, and this one looks like it's a fail. And I don't know what the stuff swirling around in these sacs is, if it's like bacteria. Some of them have developed well, but there are definitely some that... Yeah, well, this one seems to not have a shell. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what they're... If there's like enough calcium dissolved in the water in here, or what exactly they need. I know that the other snail that I have in some of my samples right now tolerates low calcium content, but these here, I'm not so sure. I would say this has been eaten. Definitely looks damaged to me. And it's bizarre that this, for example, does still move. Why is that? Oh, we've got some stepping. Tuck, tick, tuck. Bizarre. But well, yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to show. I'll show the clip again from the snail eggs. And put the other lens on again. Sorry, that's a lot of switching tonight, but you'll just have to bear with me. That's the snail just when it was laying its eggs. And yeah, you can see that the yolk is just a small yellow dot. And the snail was cleaning the glass in front of itself, and I think it just basically cleaned the glass and then it put its eggs down. Oh, we missed a nice protist, a big protist here. And it laid several clutches here, you can see, as you might not know. This is all from the same snail, from this one. That's mom. And I think dead because she's alone, and snails are hermaphrodite. So she can, he, she, it can do this all on its own. Taking the polarizer out again. Ooh, startled the snail. Don't startle the snail. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to get some of the mites in frame. These ones that are in here have a flattened body. Let's see. Of course, now they're nowhere to be seen. I don't see any mite right now, which is kind of strange because when I started observing this tube tonight, there were several and several sizes. Ah, no, that's a copepod. Strange. There's one. But it's tiny, so you have a hard time making that out. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I do have another tube with a big mite in it. And I've observed this big mite this week, just after it made a kill. A copepod. And these mites are very fast swimmers, but when they're eating, you can watch them. They stay put for a while. Not for very long, but if you're lucky, you can watch them eat their meal, and that's pretty fun. So let's try and do that. I think I'm gonna try and throw a mosquito larva in the... Oh shit, no. Yeah, I'll try and throw a mosquito larva in there for the mite to hunt. When there is copepods and other prey in that tube. I didn't want to do it beforehand because it doesn't do any good if the mosquito is already eaten by the time we get to observing the tube. Okay, just choosing the right tube now. That's it. Get in there. Alright. At least one mosquito larva is in there. So I'll show you a clip where the mite is eating the copepod while I change the sample. And there's a leech, bottom left corner, by the way. Oh, my clips are too short today. What's happening? Did it already? I think it already caught the mosquito. It's dead. Did it? What is that? It's definitely the mite. Yeah, it's the mite with the mosquito. These guys are killers. I literally threw the mosquito larva in there seconds ago. I could remove the Bithynia label. Sorry. That is so cool. So my machine allows for maybe I shouldn't move this way. Ah, oh, so nice. Let's see how close I can get. Good. Where's our mite? There he is. There it is. With its mosquito prey. Okay, I didn't expect it to be this quick, to be honest. Hey, Durand is here from Diet Toms. Nice you made it. Cuba. Welcome. We are just observing this mosquito killing mite here, and I'm blown away by how fast it got to kill that mosquito larva. So my machine allows for me to exchange the tubes, of course, but I can't put anything into the tubes while they're in there right now, unfortunately. But that's something I can change in the future, and I've got some good motivation to do that, because there's several of these tiny predators that are really quite efficient killing machines, as we can see here. And it would be nice to be able to put the tube in first and after the fact add some prey. And I think so. When they are hunting, they are fast swimmers. You might be aware of mosquito larvae being pretty, how should I put this? Well, they can be pretty fast. But these are faster, so they are pretty hard to follow around. Even if you have a microscope or a device that has like special motors to move the camera around and sample around. Having some real trouble following this guy around. I wish he'd just... So the mites, these mites, the water mites, hydracnids, are, as I understand, most of the time the larval stages or the nymph stages, they resemble the adults, so they are called nymphs, not larvae, but they are larval stages. Those are parasites most of the time, for most species, I should say. So they will find a host and attach to the host and suck on it without killing it. But the adults are predatory, and the pro-nymph, they have a pro-nymph state, so kind of I think it's the last nymph state, the last state before adulthood. Those are predatory too, most of the time. And the parasitic stages, they can be seen attached to all kinds of all kinds of aquatic organisms, like dragonfly nymphs, adult dragonflies, even if they leave the water. Oh, there's our friend the baby snail. What's that? Oh, what is that? Is that a... Sorry, I'm getting carried away. If I see something I haven't observed before in the sample, I kind of have to follow it and see if I can find out what it is. And that looked to me like it was some kind of stenostomum or similar microstomid worm. And my regulars know that I am a sucker for worms, so I had to check. But yeah, I'm afraid we have lost the mite. It's just, even with a mosquito larva in its grasp, it's just too fast. Ah, Cordisto! I haven't seen your message. Hello! I remember you've already been here in the past. Okay, let's see if we can find the mite again. Let's hope it just found a place and chills there for eating. So yeah, I've got a book where a few mites are shown, and their life cycle is... Ooh, what is moving in the substrate here? The life cycle is, like I said, there's a heliozoan. That thing here in the center. I'm guessing that the stream quality isn't good enough for you to make out the what are they called? I always forget if it's pseudopods or I think or tentacles or whatever. The thingies, the radiating fibrous thingies. So yeah, these mites are great to have in any environment containing mosquito larvae, so any stagnant water. But their life cycle, I'm gonna just look it up real quick so I don't tell you anything stupid. A lot of them do have mosquitoes as host organisms. Some of them have larvae parasiting on the mosquito larvae and adults, and so they have larvae that are parasites on mosquito larvae and mosquito adults. They might even leave the water with the mosquito when it hatches. And the adults also go for mosquitoes for a lot of species. It's really a very, very cool organism. And it's crazy because some of them, I mean, some aquatic mites you see are terribly slow moving, and I have no idea how they manage to find a host or attach to anything moving. Sorry, I'm taking just a little second to look for that mosquito, for the water mite larvae. And the mites are always hard to find because they are this little tiny fraction of, you know, most organisms are either crustaceans or insects, and the mites are outside of that, so there they are. Yeah, a lot of them are bright red, and yeah, they have a pretty... I have a image with 10 different stages life cycle. So they have an egg, and they can they have a pupa-like state, Well, let's start with the egg. They have an egg where the larva hatches. It attaches to a mosquito larva or pupa. Then it leaves the water with the mosquito. Later, when it's developed into the next stage, I think, it will detach from the mosquito and fall back into the water. Needs some luck, I guess. And what's stage number 7 here? Pupa-like stage. Yeah, there's 2 different pupa-like stages. So they have a pretty let's just say they have a complex life cycle. And let me try to find this guy again. But I'm guessing that he's already finished his meal. Although we would have seen him just paddling by because he's all over the place. He's not eating. Zoom out a bit. Snail. There he is. He's still got his prey with him. Sorry. Reframing him. It. I don't know. I have trouble not gendering all of these little guys. They have so much personality that the snails have kind of a female vibe to me. Hope that's not sexist or anything. So he takes his favorite prey with him everywhere. I don't know what he's looking for. But he's dragging his mosquito prey with him. And yeah, that's the exact same individual that I showed earlier in the clip when it was eating the copepod. And yeah, it stayed put for a few seconds when it was doing that. I should have put in a bigger mosquito larva, I think. This is kind of a small one. Startled the snail. Okay. So there's 2 heliozoans, one next to the other. I looked up the name. Wait a second, it's Actinospherium, maybe, but I'm not sure. It's big. There he is again. So yeah, we've seen the mite, even seen some action. As you can see, it's really hard to follow around. Not as relaxing as usual, as my usual videos. I have one last tube prepared for tonight. Might be a little shorter than usual. Zoom, zoom, zoom. The last tube I have prepared has some weird and fascinating insect larvae. I'll turn the speed up even further and see if I can keep up with this guy. I might shake the sample up a bit. To up focus speed as well. Might get some vibrations. Oh shit. Yeah, it's just too fast. Something I have said already several times on this stream, on my past streams, that water mites are very fast. But we can look at this faucet snail. No, valve snail. Yeah, it's like a kid on cocaine, I guess. My kid is always like it ate too much sugar, although it doesn't really get a lot of sugar. Do I have my lateral lights on? I do. Okay. Just turn the backlight off for a second so we can have a look at this cutie pie here. This is one of my favorite snails, to be honest. It's so fun to watch. They have this split soul and they can really grasp onto stuff. I've mentioned this before because Nipper's here. Good evening. Welcome. So I think this is the valve snail. And as you can see, it kind of has two hands there on the sole. It has two little points that it can use to hold on to stuff and move around. And sometimes it really looks like someone in a bedsheet ghost costume that's Kids' sugar hyperactivity is a myth? I don't think so. I've seen it firsthand. Like around Christmas, a kid that doesn't eat too much sugar usually gets a lot of Christmas cookies, and it just it explodes. It's clenching its fists and screaming just. Yeah, there's an extra tentacle on the snail. And I was speculating on a past stream with another user what it is, because the only site that I found some significant information on the snail stated that science doesn't know what the tentacle is for. Now, I don't know what it's for. I think if it was a snorkel or anything like that, it would have been yeah, that's something that's pretty easy to observe. You just watch the snail in oxygen depleted water and you can see if it's used like a snorkel. But yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't been able to find any info on this particular species concerning the extra tentacle. I have found that this is the snail that can cope with very calcium poor waters. It's present in all of Europe, I think. Okay. Let's stay on macro then. This the snail has been introduced into North America. Now we can see the tentacle, and it has conquered a lot of the freshwater ecosystems in North America. What's that back there? It's another snail. Why is it moving so much? I'm gonna go in for a closer look before we... Oh. Sorry, I dropped my polarizer. Polarizer is stuck to the bottom of my shoe. Oh, great. Yes, I only use cheap polarizing film, so it's not that big of a deal. Try and get a closer look on the snake. That's what I said. Can I? Yes, I can. Oh, up. So, Cuba, I'm right there with you. As a parent, it's very, very hard to state that it's a myth, or to accept that it's a myth. Where did it go now? Our snaily snail? That's not the right one. That's the Bithynia. I'm not sure what this one is, because it doesn't have the third tentacle, does it? No. It does have a worm crawling around on its shell, though. The lens that I'm using right now is a Canon 60mm f2.8 regular macro lens, 1:1 macro lens, but it has I have two macro tubes, a 1.4 times teleconverter, and a micro four thirds sensor with a 2x crop factor on it. So it's, then again, it is a EFS lens, so it's made for APS-C sensors, and that's something that's really confusing, that sometimes you get these real macro lenses that are 1:1. There we can really see the third tentacle sticking up for everyone that's still interested in the snail instead of hyperactivity. It might just be the sweetness provoking strong emotions, because it's so nice to, you know, it's a very, very ancient instinct to be happy if you found something sweet. Our hyperactive might is zooming by from time to time. Yeah, I love the snail. Really, really do. It's the color, the third weird tentacle, and these... Yeah, you think we might be able to catch a glimpse of it grasping things with its bedsheet Halloween costume there. And it's got this long snout. Oh no, out of focus. Yeah, lots of snails in the sample. I have watched this sample in past streams, but it just doesn't get old. And with all the snails in here, the front window stays surprisingly clean. Yeah, Nipper, maybe the snail does have better Wi-Fi connection with the third antenna. Probably a 3G or something. So yeah, but I think I might move on to the last portion of the stream. That's a part of a mosquito pupa, I think. Pupa, that black thing in the middle. Oh, a blue snail. It's a pity that it's just moving around on the ground right now. Definitely does look like some kind of antenna that's well, this one for breathing, Cordisto, does have a we can kind of just see it peeking out there. It does have some gills, this one. Let me try and see if we can get a look. Just underneath the tentacle. Of course, there's another snail in the way right now. Can we get a look? Can we get a look? There it is. There. That's the gill. So it has this feathery organ that, depending on the condition, it can stick out of its shell and kind of inflate a little bit to get more surface area, I guess. And that's the way this one breathes. So this is not a lunged snail like a bladder snail would be. This is one truly aquatic snail that has a gill. Just one single gill. In German, the direct translation of the group that belongs to is called feathergill snail. Feathergill snails. Yeah, but the antenna, the Wi-Fi antenna, I think I'm gonna refer to it as a Wi-Fi antenna from now on. Science has been looking for the purpose of this organ for decades, until they found out that actually it was a really hip snail that's just always on. Always on social media and sharing its private life like this. Should be happy with what I'm doing. So yeah, let's move on to the last tube, I'd say. You don't have to be sorry. I'm here to have fun. Oh. Gonna switch on my backlight. If I can. Can I? To experiment with my lighting. This is really experimentation right here. Now I can't get the backlight to illuminate the ground floor here. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm gonna put away the valve snail label, and I'm gonna play the clip with the mite again while I exchange the samples and put in the last sample for tonight, which is... Can I find it? I need to find it first. Where did I put that? You should see my desk. It's quite the... Ah, that's the one I wanted. All right. So yeah, mite with prey. Let's go. I always have to take my headphones off to walk over to the machine and exchange samples or lenses. Because it's just out of reach. Okay, so this is a sample I collected from a small... Whoa. I think we need to zoom out a little bit. It looks weird. What's the small thing zooming around? Sorry, I need to make some adjustments. Huh? Did I see wrong, or are there cladocerans in here? There are! Let me think, how did they get in here? I collected this sample from a basically a bucket that my neighbor has out with leaves in it, and I'm not aware of any cladocerans in there. Why should there be? Well, it's an old bucket, but I'm surprised that there are water flea in here. The thing I wanted to show is something else. There are... Ah, there it is. This thing. So, this is called a rat-tailed maggot. And it looks as... yeah, as disgusting as the name suggests, I guess. But it's such a weird thing to watch that I decided I had to just I discovered they were in there, and yeah, I decided that they were worth a look, basically. So these are larvae of hoverflies, droneflies. Hoverflies, yeah, hoverflies. You know hoverflies, they are very cool. Bigger species of hoverflies. It's a hoverfly larvae, so it belongs to the hoverflies, yes. I don't know how many suborders of hoverflies there are. I know there are some that eat like aphids, some that have larval stages that are terrestrial and eat aphids. But these are interesting to me not just because they have this tail, which we'll get to in a minute, but they have a surprisingly similar body build to the Chaetogaster worms. They have these bristles sticking out for movement, and they look really similar to the ones. Did you see that? They look really similar to the ones. That makes two of us, Nipper. Anyways, they have these bristles on their belly, and that makes them really similar to the Chaetogaster worms that we've looked at last week, for example, and at a lot of other past streams. But these guys are specialized on living in really oxygen-depleted water. They don't need dissolved oxygen because, as you can see here, they have they are pretty big. Actually, their siphon here, a centimeter sounds about right. Maybe even a tiny bit bigger. Their siphon is telescopic. They can extend that, and depending on species, it can get up to 15 centimeters long. So we might see it. There's a joint, for example, in the telescopic tube, and this one is a snorkel, so they can extend it and retract it at will. And if we're lucky, we'll see it do just that. Ah, you saw it in the... wasn't in focus, but you definitely saw that, didn't you? In the background there was one of the snorkels coming up. So some environments where you'll find these are really cesspools and like runoff from manure, really polluted nutrient-rich environments without any oxygen in it, or buckets where there's lots of leaves, decaying leaves and stuff. Oh, what was that? What's that? Oh man, I didn't even know they could do that. Looks like it's waving its butt, but it's got fingers for that. Don't ask me. I'm new to these as well. Or pretty new to these. The field of view right now is... ugh, it's hard to judge. The mosquito larvae you're seeing can serve as a... I know what can serve as a... kind of a scale bar is this... I think the field of view should be around 2 centimeters maybe? Rough estimate. So these aren't the... aren't the conditions where they can take full advantage of their snorkel, but you can really see that there are 2 air tubes coming down in that snorkel and going throughout, leading the oxygen throughout the body. Can we get a look on the body? There you see these silvery lines inside the body. That's they have a whole network of these oxygen channels going through their body, and not an expert, but I guess that these veins filled with oxygen, they oxygenate the entire body, because that's yeah, quite obvious with a transparent body like that. So this isn't crazy magnification right now. We might be at around 1:1. Spiracles. Sorry, I'm not sure what spiracles are. I think I've heard it before, but right now it doesn't ring the bell. Ah! There you see. Came down. Snorkel's down. And extending. Slowly extending. You can extend it pretty fast. I guess the end is pretty buoyant because it always rises up. Might just be the air contained in the tubes. Oh. He's done breathing. But this one is waving his butt again. Oh man, what is happening? Did you see that before? Try to get it in frame. Something is happening. Unfortunately, this is not the mouth feeding on some biofilm or something. That's the butt. It has like... Does it have anal gills like so many of these critters? But why would it if it has this 15 centimeter snorkel? Ah, you thought that those were spiracles? Yeah, it looks spooky. I wouldn't suggest letting 5-year-olds watch this. They might get nightmares. Nightmares! That's the wrong episode. So what is happening here? Does anyone know? I would guess that those are anal gills, just because a lot of the larvae and other small organisms have them. I mean, dragonfly larvae have their gills at the back, damselfly larvae, bloodworms or chironomid larvae, deero worms. Not that they are related to this. I mean, this is a hexapod larva. Like a chironomid would be. Yeah, I mean, when I'm preparing these streams, or when I started this whole observing tiny aquatic critters things, I was not anticipating that it would go into that vulgar direction so many times. But these, it looks ridiculous. These are super mushy, by the way. These are really soft-bodied. If anything was ever soft-bodied, it's these guys. They are just a piece of hose with some organs in it. And you can see here, or you might be able to see that these I don't know if you would call it trachea or something, the oxygen conduits here, they are kind of branched. I don't know, to me it's, I wouldn't call these guys beautiful or anything, but they sure are fascinating, aren't they? I mean, this telescopic breathing tube and the oxygen being transported through tubes into the whole body, although the organism itself is so soft that I don't know how it can keep these oxygen containing tubes inflated against the water pressure. Doesn't. Yeah, Nipper, that makes me think about one of the memes in Sumi's microscopy server, where there's like a centipede, this ugly long-legged centipede, and a human looks at it disgusted, you know, and the centipede says something like, I eat cockroaches for a living. And the human isn't happy with it. The human says, well, can't you look pretty? And the centipede says, I literally don't care, I just want to live. Nature doesn't care how it looks, it just works. And to think that this thing morphs into a beautiful hoverfly that is almost always I mean, there's different species of red-tailed maggots, but all of them are either wasp or honeybee mimicries. So there's a beautiful insect that will be born of that thing. What is that? It's super red. It was a cladoceran. Sorry. Yeah, that's the thing I was saying. This is Arjun. Hi. This is called a red-tailed maggot. It's a larvae of a hoverfly. That's what I was just talking about, that these things eat, they basically eat shit. They can eat, they can exist in puddles of the worst quality water. If there's a leak in toilet somewhere on a festival or something, that these things can live in there. Water mite. You think the red thing was a water mite? Might have been. I mean, they can be very red. I thought it was shape-wise, it was more close to a cladoceran. I'm gonna have to take a closer look. Yeah, they are pollinators. They transform, you know, feces of bigger animals into a meal for a bird, for example, or a beautiful thing for a human to look at, or something that will pollinate something that we can eat, or that produces. There's the red thing. It's not a water mite. I think it's a cladoceran, isn't it? would be a really weird shape for a water mite. It's disappeared into the soil, into the sediment. So yeah, nature. It ain't always pretty, but still love it. Ah, that's the red guy again. And he's gone again, of course. It doesn't move like a mite. Oh, that's cladoceran. Some kind of water flea. As far as I can tell. Ah, okay. Well, there you go, Arjun. These are usually not an indicator of awesome water quality. So I don't know if you have an air stone in that. No, it's a still water pond. But it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, fish will eat it, I guess. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night. We've looked at everything I wanted to look at. We've seen some awesome stuff. I mean, that water mite eating the mosquito larvae was really... I was shocked how fast that went. It was really... I threw it in and put the tube in and it already caught it. And I have had the same experience with other things like dragonfly nymphs. You know, these tubes I use, they are not enormous, so it's a pretty small amount of water, and it's not a whole lot of room for the prey organism to hide or anything, and predators will go after their prey. I mean, they will prowl, and that's why I want to modify the machine. Or it's not a modification, it's actually just the finishing of some parts that I have haywired, so to speak, to be able and add stuff to the tubes that are already in there, so we can have our water mite and put the mosquito larva in there while the water mite is still empty-handed. So yeah, thank you a lot for stopping by, for watching. I hope you had some fun. I sure did. I don't know, I wasn't expecting it to be a spectacular stream tonight, because I didn't go out to some big lake or beautiful site to collect a sample, but just goes to show that a small bucket or a bucket pond, so to speak, is well enough to find some interesting subjects. And these red-tailed larvae, red-tailed maggots, are freaky. freaky. So I hope to see you next time again, and yeah, that's it for tonight. Take care and keep exploring yourself. Just experiment. Use your phone camera and a jeweler's loupe. I might actually start a second channel for some more flexibility, and have this channel for the narrated videos and have a second channel where I'm more flexible, where I do terrestrial stuff too, and insects and technique videos and things like that. So, have a nice evening, and you're welcome, of course. Bye guys! Thank you for your great feedback.